Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Richard, founder of Short-Term Rental University and professional real estate developer. Today I wanted to give you an update with a closely followed lawsuit filed by Airbnb that actually created a change of rules in a very popular hosting community, Santa Monica, California. So let's get into it. All right, so what happened? Well, basically the city of Santa Monica had for decades restricted short-term rentals under the premise that they didn't want these de facto hotels and they really wanted to maintain like their neighborhood and their own vision. And that restricted entrepreneurs and hosts like us from hosting legally in Santa Monica. Well, people tend to skirt the law and do what it is that they want to do, and that led to too many people doing it illegally. And so Santa Monica and Airbnb entered into the courtroom to try and figure out what was going on. Ultimately, Santa Monica enabled hosts to host for less than 31 days, and they had to be present in the home, which is pretty strict. I mean, I have multiple homes. I'm not present in all of them. It really discourages my entrepreneurial spirit in my business, which is exactly what Santa Monica wanted, but it led to people doing things illegally, and that's not what Santa Monica wanted. So they've been in the courtroom and trying to figure it all out, and ultimately what came out, I think, is a good middle ground where hosts are now allowed to do it for one listing, not multiple listings, and I don't understand there to be any restrictions on the number of days or them needing to be present. So it's kind of like if you have one home and you want to monetize that one home and you live in Santa Monica or you invest in Santa Monica, cool, just register with the city and get the permit and do it right. And they're now collecting a $2 per night fee from guests that goes towards solving their affordable housing crisis. So here's a case in point where the city of Santa Monica and Airbnb, through the legal system, unfortunately, but nonetheless, resolves a situation that's tricky, and they're doing it for the maximum benefit of hosts. Hosts are allowed to do what they want to do within reason, one listing, no limitations on the number of nights, and guests are now paying $2 per night, and that's going towards solving their affordable housing crisis. So like everybody wins. So while I'm sure there's some fine print that the article that I read didn't really capture, it's not really relevant. What's really relevant here are sort of my thoughts about it, and here's what I would say. I've taught before that the pendulum swings too far. The pendulum and regulatory risk really comes from a place of fear, and the reality doesn't match that fear. And so what happens is things go from it's legal or not monitored to oh my gosh, there's a lot of fear, let's ban it, and it's completely restrictive and onerous, and entrepreneurs can't thrive, and it's actually bad for the community, right? Like overshooting in one direction isn't good either, and so generally the pendulum will swing in the other direction. And what happens with the pendulum, as we've seen, is it keeps getting narrower and narrower and narrower, and eventually it lands like in the middle ground, which is actually a pretty healthy spot. And I think that's what's happened right here in Santa Monica. So the second point from my perspective is this is a win-win. I'm sure that there's some hosts that don't feel that way, and I'm sure there's some local residents that don't feel that way, but I think if we took a look at this from like a 30,000 foot perspective, this is a win for hosts, for the city of Santa Monica, and also for guests. Guests can now come and enjoy Santa Monica and live like a local. In fact, Charles and I stayed in Santa Monica Airbnb not 2 years ago, and we had a great time, and that was a very different experience. Santa Monica doesn't have a ton of hotels. There's probably not enough rooms and lodging, so this is a really great solution for guests. And for Santa Monica as a whole, when more guests come in, there's more spend and restaurants and traffic, and like the city remains vibrant. And then for hosts, you now have the ability to monetize your one property, right? So it is reducing the number of de facto hotels, to use their language, but it doesn't restrict you from doing what it is that you want with your one primary property in Santa Monica. So from my perspective, I believe this to be a really good common ground. I'd like to view this as a win-win. I'd like to thank Airbnb for using their legal resources and like their tools to actually support the hosting community and get to this common middle ground, because this wouldn't have happened if Airbnb didn't sue the city of Santa Monica, and also, to be fair, HomeAway participated in that lawsuit as well. So I believe this to be a good middle ground, a win-win, and when you get to that win-win solution, that's when it's sustainable and repeatable and people know the laws and the rules and they can play within them. And that $2 tax is really helpful for the city of Santa Monica to feel like they're investing in their future and protecting the affordable housing. And as long as they use that money intelligently and properly and actually have it do what it's intended to do, I think it's a win-win for everybody. So the third thing that I've taught time and time again is that taxes are actually our friend. So while guests coming and spending $2 a night may not like that and hosts may not like collecting it, at the end of the day, once the community has their teeth into this tax and they're relying on the tax and they believe it's helping the community with their affordable housing crisis, it's unlikely that they're going to deviate. Over time, I anticipate that the tax will increase. That's generally what happens with taxes, especially if it's really helping their cause and so on. But it's a pass-through, and when I travel, there's oftentimes resort fees, lodging fees. There's so many different fees, short-term rental fees. It's fee on top of fee on top of fee. But at the end of the day, I think that that's sustainable as long as it's not too prohibitive. If it gets to be too expensive, people will say, I don't need to stay in Santa Monica, I'll stay in LA, or I don't need to stay in Santa Monica, I'll stay somewhere else. But as long as it's reasonable and guests feel that they're getting great value and they're in the community that they like and the community's thriving, I think taxes are a really good thing for short-term rental entrepreneurs. And in fact, I've taught time and time again, find places where the regulations are really clear, like Santa Monica, really clear now. Find places that have taxes because it's unlikely to change anytime soon. So from my perspective as an entrepreneur investing in short-term rentals, this is a very positive development, and it might actually encourage me to buy one place in the city of Santa Monica where before I would have none. And the fact that I might invest in one place in Santa Monica means that there's more real estate transactions, brokers get paid, new money's coming in, new inflows. I might fix the roof and change some of the windows and stuff that an existing homeowner may not. So this enables capital flow, entrepreneurial endeavors and spirits to come in, and it's all in the benefit of the guests, the community, and the hosts, and I like to think of it as a win-win. So in conclusion, I think this is going to be followed time and time again. The number of days and the number of properties and the tax dollars and so on will change based on the community dynamics, but I think this is sort of a roadmap for what we can expect to see, and I hope this addresses and calms some of the fears that you have about regulatory risk, right? It's unlikely that it's going to be banned forever, even though it may be banned today. But when people want to travel a certain way and spend a certain amount of money and live like a local, I've taught that the general population always wins. And I don't know how long it is and I don't know the specifics, but just stay tuned because we're very early in all of this. I think Santa Monica has done something intelligent here. I think it's likely to be followed by other communities around the world. The specifics will change, but the effect won't. You're going to be allowed to host intelligently, responsibly, collect taxes, benefit the community, and that's a very beautiful thing because that enables us to know where we stand with our investment capital and thrive alongside the community and the platforms and continue to welcome guests into our homes. So I hope you like this video. Please go ahead and like it and subscribe. Leave comments below. What are your thoughts about Santa Monica, and especially you Santa Monica hosts? What do you think about it, right? This is just one person's interpretation, and I'm not a Santa Monica host, although I've been a guest there and I'd like to continue to be a guest in Airbnbs in Santa Monica. Thank you so much. I look forward to your comments below. Thanks so much for watching that video. I just want to share with you that the HostSaver one-click website tool is now live. Like, people are on it, they're using it all the time, and we really want to encourage you to take control of your financial future by building your own brand and building your own business and getting off the dependency of the platforms. Take charge and control of your own future and develop relationships with your clients, the people that have come and stayed in your home. Tell them about discounts or specials that you have. Tell them that you expanded. Tell them anything that you want. Write blogs and start to get your own traction, right? Attract your own tribe using your own website. This is what businesses do. It's 2020. The time is now for people like me and you to build our own website and become platform agnostic. So go ahead and click in the description below to register for the HostSaver. One click and you have your own custom, absolutely gorgeous, works flawlessly website. Can't wait to see you there. Let's go, friends.